Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Margaret Brennan, in for Norah tonight. We begin with breaking news from a suburb of Memphis, Tennessee, where yet another American community is shaken tonight by a deadly mass shooting at a neighborhood grocery store. A gunman, for reasons not yet determined, started shooting inside a Kroger store in Collierville. At least a dozen victims were wounded and one has died. The gunman is deceased, possibly after taking his own life. There have been more than 500 mass shootings in the U.S. this year, claiming the lives of more than 500 Americans and wounding more than 2,000. CBS's Jeff Pegues has been speaking with his law enforcement contacts, and he leads our coverage tonight. Good evening to you, Jeff.
Margaret, gunshots rang out inside that Kroger store starting at about 1:30 this afternoon, and it did not take long for police to show up on scene. It was within 4 minutes. They were heavily armed, and what they saw inside was gruesome. Multiple victims after yet another mass shooting.
It's going to be an active shooter at the Kroger.
Heavily armed police from multiple agencies answered the call. Inside, they found the wounded and began to clear the chaotic scene.
There were numerous employees that were working. I know we found people hiding in freezers and in locked offices, and they were doing what they had been trained to do: run, hide, fight.
Employee Brignetta Dickerson works the cash register and saw the shooter when he opened fire.
I closed the door to the area, and we all ducked. And that's when the guy came out there with the gun. And one of my coworkers got shot in the head, and a customer got shot in the stomach and in the arm.
Authorities say one person was killed and more than a dozen people wounded. Ambulances rushed the victims to nearby hospitals, some with serious injuries.
And our thoughts and prayers are with those family members.
Police locked down the area, including a nearby school. The shooter was dead when he was found in the back of the store with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. This is the second mass shooting at a supermarket this year. In March, 10 people, including a police officer, were killed after a lone gunman opened fire inside King's Superstore in Boulder, Colorado.
I've been involved in this for 34 years, and I've never seen anything like it.
Law enforcement sources tell us that investigators are looking into whether this was a case of workplace violence and whether the suspect, who is now deceased, was a disgruntled employee. Ironically, the fire and police personnel who showed up on this scene today have just completed active shooter training. Margaret.
Frightening. Thank you, Jeff.